Also use every opportunity to push the Fiji and Pacific brand at the tourism exchange, with its enhanced onboard experience and addition of new flights later this year. Fiji Airways is well positioned to continue the upward trend in our tourist arrivals.
A lot of people aren't aware of what our network really looks like, and by the time you add our co-chair partners into the mix, we've got an extensive network that can connect most of the world into South Pacific destinations. So that's a key thing for us, is sharing that information with attendees at that event. The other way that we get to share what we're all about is many of those attendees fly on our product. And there's no better way to showcase your product than have someone experience it. So yeah, that's useful for us.
For many of our Pacific neighbors, Fiji Airways is the crucial link and getaway to the outside world, which is why global branding and marketing of the airline becomes all the more crucial.
SPTE, we take a broader look. It includes Fiji, obviously, but it also talks about the fact that we're flying to places like Samoa, Tonga, and places like that. So for us, the destinations that we're talking about are much broadened. The markets that we're talking to, we're interested in all of our markets. We've got services now coming in from Singapore, Hong Kong, San Francisco and LA. We've got co-chair partners in AA that connect us now with London. So really, we're able to reach most parts of the world these days, and I don't want to pick out one audience. They're all pretty important to us.
Yasawa Island Resort is also hoping to stamp its mark at the tourism exchange. The company believes it can offer wholesalers at the event the perfect tourist offerings for those coming our way.
Being a small destination, we can't reach every corner of the world, and we need partners to do that. And so dealing with people who have reach into their various home markets really gives us an advantage.
The tourism exchange is expected to provide a launchpad for tourism operators like the Yasawa Island Resort and others to reach out to markets beyond the region.
I think the tourism industry really is about partnership. You know, you can't go it alone. You need to work with people who share the same goals, have clients that are looking for your particular product, and so we need to partner with these people to make sure our product gets out there and it gets sold into the right markets. Just the fact that we're able to get our name out there into lots of different markets through lots of different mediums, print, online, the internet, through direct marketing, and all of that sort of stuff really gets our name and our brand out there.
Also hoping to tap into new markets is the capital city's oldest establishment. The Grand Old Lady is looking to entice both the traditional and long-haul markets.
The Grand Pacific is a standalone hotel. We're not part of any international brand hotel. This show gives us a platform to be able to further our branding in new markets. This is the second time we are attending SPTE. And we want to meet some new suppliers from different countries. Our target market will be looking for the MICE business. As you know, we have the biggest conference space in Suva. If we can get a few groups every year out of this show, we'll be very happy.
The first thing that usually springs to mind when you think of Pacific Island countries are our beaches. The perception that the region has stunning white sandy beaches stretching for miles on beautiful pristine islands does wonders for our tourism here. Half the marketing battle is won if the region continues to ride on that reputation. Of course, our Pacific hospitality is another trait that speaks for itself. But while we may have the right mix to draw the average tourist to our shores, as a region, we must continue to evolve and enhance our tourism experience to suit the ever-changing tourist.
If the Pacific doesn't stay ahead of the changes, they'll go off to the Caribbean or to the Indian Ocean, where they're offering or should I say, they're catering to these changing trends and the covers. Market research is very important, and that's a key area that we want to strengthen here, is to become a hub for market research information to Pacific and feeding our Pacific industry in terms of what's happening outside in terms of their source markets and also in terms of their travels. We are going through, and PATA, we work very closely with signed an MOU, has predicted and has given us the new travelers that are coming aboard, the new core values. So when I say the new travelers, we're looking at more people who are more culturally and environmentally responsible. We're looking at people who are moving from the bling destinations, and I say bling destinations, it's the Balis and all these other Hawaiis, etc. And they're looking to be more stimulated and more involved rather than just be pampered in a hotel, resort, etc. In terms of being adapting to the core values, we're seeing people who are becoming they're more high impact, low impact tourists. They're people who are actually looking for wow factor in a destination. They're not just going to come for a sunset and see and sunbathe and swim, etc. They want to see a wow factor in a destination. Example is, and I'll use Tonga, it's easier, swimming with the whales. I mean, that's a wow factor. People have said it's like an experience. It's one of your bucket list ticks that you do. And I was talking with a travel agent, and he said that swimming with the whales was like swimming with a container ship beside you, which is an exciting thing that they'll never have the experience. So they're looking for the wow factor. And also the core values of the tourists now is that they want to give back to communities. They want to help the communities. They come as a visitor, and of course so share what they have, etc., but also not only spend in the tourists but give back to these communities.
Especially so when you have a regional tourism brand that is so diverse. That's where niche marketing comes into play.
Because it's very cost effective. We all have minimal resources, whether it's marketing budgets, etc. So having a more targeted approach is a win-win for us in this case. It's more focused with the very small marketing dollars that we have in this area. It is also an opportunity for maybe our larger countries to counteract mass tourism. Because they can then focus on just certain niches, etc. It also is an opportunity to differentiate our products, as I mentioned before, for the unique selling points. And also, again, I emphasize the micro, small, medium enterprises. It helps promote them and as well as develop them.
So while the Pacific offers a unique tourism experience, only a targeted approach will work. That's simply because not all Pacific Island countries are built for large-scale tourism like Fiji. Going beyond the sun, sea, sand concept is crucial if the region is to tap into its tourism potential. That means an overhaul of our Pacific brand and going back to our roots.
We can't do it on our own. We rely also on our member countries in this case to actually help us promote this brand and to inform and inspire the brand identity in this case. The other one is consistency. We need to strengthen our presence in our source markets, and firstly to promote as the Pacific in this case, and then of course the individual countries. But it differs because in our long haul markets in Europe and North America, it's important because providing the Pacific identity is easier, and then after that they'll find their way around. I mean, in the short haul markets, Australia, New Zealand is a different case. Fiji can stand on its own in this case, Cook Islands as individual destinations. The other area is accountability. It's very important that we are positively empowering our people as well as the places in this case of in terms of the brand in this area. And the final one is sustainability, which is always very important, is conserving what we are offering as well as for the offering for our future generations, whether it's the host or the visitor in this case.
It will ultimately depend on how Pacific Islands create value and add to the overall tourist experience. After all, our regional tourism product depends on how best we deliver and harmonize sustainable tourism with the environment.
Our Pacific Islands' greatest asset is our people, our culture and environment. If we lose any of these, we've got nothing to sell. We've got a very fragile, our islands are quite very fragile in the area of the environment, etc. So we need to conserve and protect it in this area. Sustainable tourism is the Pacific's unique selling point. And that's the way ahead that we go, and we can promote ourselves as a sustainable destination, particularly with the environment involved as well as culture, in this case, in our people. And also, we must also understand that tourism can be double-edged sword in this case. It provides a positive impact as well as its negative impact. And the key to it is it needs to be sustainably managed to avoid the negative impacts on our environment. And I think the key or buzzwords these days amongst development partners is private sector development, and I think that tourism suits that very well. The other area is the environment, and that's very important for the tourism industry, and we could use tourism as a driver and a tool to conserve and preserve our environment, but also to develop and enhance our private sector.
And that's the show for this week. We love hearing from you, so do send us your feedback. talkbusiness@fijitv.com.fj. Remember, you can catch me on the net on our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook page. And if you're on Twitter, follow me at Rachna Fiji TV. Thank you for joining us. Join us again at the same time next week. Until then, have yourself a productive week. Bulavinaka, you're tuned into Talk Business, the region's leading business show, and to all our viewers tuning in from across the world on our YouTube channel, welcome to the show on Talk Business tonight. Taking sustainable tourism to the region. Find out what SPTO is doing to help grow the Pacific tourism brand. Open for business. We take you on a tour of the new Marriott Mommy Bay Resort, the newest accommodation hitting the market. And a treat for Alice in Wonderland fans. Find out what the Mad Hatter's Hut is all about. And that's coming up in the next half hour. Sustainable tourism is no doubt the buzzword in our region's most fastest growing sector. It's all about establishing a suitable balance between the environmental, economic, and socio-cultural aspects of tourism development, all while harmonizing the best of what each segmentation in tourism can offer. In essence, sustainable tourism helps minimize its impact on the environment and local culture by ensuring it's available for future generations while contributing to generate income, employment, and conservation of local ecosystems. At the forefront of driving sustainable tourism in our part of the globe is the South Pacific Tourism Organization. SPTO has partnered with Sustainable Travel International through funding support from the United Nations Environment Programme to develop a regional program. This will support destinations and enterprises across the Pacific to address critical barriers to sustainability practices and improve sustainable consumption and production.
Sustainable tourism is still very embryonic in our region. It's a buzzword that's happening amongst development partners and donors, etc. So we actually want to increase the understanding, the appreciation of sustainable tourism, and also to embed the sustainable development goals that has been set for the whole world in this case, and also the region. That's why we're also wanting a sustainable development strategy. So it will be a guide to some of our countries. With all our member countries, 17, only a few have a sustainable development plan or a policy. And I can name it's probably only Cook Islands has launched something. Fiji is going to probably have theirs when they have their Fiji Tourism Development Plan when they launch it, but not many have their own plan. So as a regional organization, we need to develop that umbrella strategy, so that to guide our member countries, so it will help them manage their tourism development.
SPTO believes, though, each island country must forge its own path when it comes to sustainable tourism, because their assets and development needs are different. A customized tourism strategic plan of sorts that is tailor-made to suit each Pacific Island country, with SPTO's overall development plan as a benchmark.
One size does not fit all in this case, and the needs there are common needs, but there are specific needs for each country, and the needs for sustainable development of a country like Tuvalu totally differs from the needs of a more developed nation in terms of Fiji or the other major destinations in the Pacific. And of course, we all know what the needs are of our small island states: climate change, disaster management, etc. But that's why it's important that they develop their individual sustainable development plans customized to their own needs in this case. So as you can see, overall, we are trying to develop the benchmark, the umbrella strategy, to provide guidance and also the pathway forward in terms of sustainable development, and then the other countries could build their own plans under this umbrella strategy.
Tourism spans across other sectors. It will help with agritourism in terms of sustainable growth.
Well, tourism, it touches everything under the sun. You know, now we see agriculture coming in, wanting to embrace tourism, because they finally realize that it actually helps with agribusiness. But not only that, it helps get other people, our own people, to also explore what they have in the farms, what they have at the plantation. It's not only about tourists, but also about our own domestic business, our own domestic travels, you know, finding out what is out there, whether it be orchids or everything like that, or you know, the different agricultural products. It's through tourism that people get to find out, and people get to buy, you know, everything that they have available. So it's all about matching the consumers to the markets as well.
Agritourism may be the answer for the region. Given the reliance on agriculture, there is real potential in linking it to tourism in a bid to create fresh income-generating sources that can build resilience in rural communities and enhance sustainable development.
The frameworks are there. Everything can be synergized. Like I said earlier, it's coordination, and it's being coordinated. And as you are well aware, as we often say, progress is a process. So at this point in time, everybody is progressing to coordinate well with each other. Those who get by the wayside, they should come in, because as we often say in tourism, when we know, we care. When we don't know, we don't care. So those are some of the lessons that we have walked through with SPTO, and will continue to do so in years to come.
The SPTO is also putting a spotlight on sustainable tourism at its premier trade event, South Pacific Tourism Exchange in Sydney in May. This will bring together over 80 buyers and sellers from Australia, New Zealand, North America, China, all over Asia,